Hello everybody! So in this video, before we get into the whole rigmarole of how to plan a meal and how to select it specifically based off of your people, uh, and then obviously how to schedule and all that stuff, we're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty of cooking. And that includes stuff like, how to make sure that you're using the right seasonings based off of someone's cravings, how to make something crispy versus tender, how, with best, easiest way to to match up whether or not something is smooth or choppy when you're kind of cooking it, how to make something that's not sour, sour depending on what ingredients you have. And so we're going to kind of get into that. And again, obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. And if you haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe. But let's kind of get into the nitty gritty of it. Obviously, when you're planning meals and all that stuff, you're going to be going off of people's cravings. So, say for instance, we're going to jump into it. This is the limit of based off the supplies that I have right now of what I can make. So what if, and without me going off and getting more supplies to compensate for like these other meals that I can do, what if someone's craving is spicy? I obviously don't have a item that's already seasoned or already spicy. Uh, let's go off of say this crispy fish pie. And so obviously here, you can go off, obviously you're going to use your flour. If you notice the color of the ring of like the item, it tells you the type of flavor it already is. Like the gray here is bitter, purple is sweet, red is spicy, like a bluish is your salty, and the green is sour. So if we click on this flavor is already going to be bitter. And then this green right here, any of these green ones here are sour. And so see here, it's also the quality of your food is going to be based off of the star of the ingredients. So let's go ahead and go with this 3-star leech. So now, based off of the other components here, see the purple is sweet, we got sour, we have sour, we have sweet, and all that stuff. And so the key way of making something that is not a certain flavor, like say for instance, okay, let's start with say if we want this to be a sour, or say a bitter. See, we have a bitter and we also have a sour. The key to make something a certain flavor is make sure that that flavor, there's more versions of that flavor than anything else. If you have, say you got 4 things here, if we have 2 sours and say 2 sweets, then it's going to be a combo. It's going to be both a sour and a sweet meal. Say if we want this to go ahead and be a sour meal. If we select one of these sour ones here, yeah. And so then at this point we have 2 sours and 2 bitters and a sour. We want to make this a bitter. And then if we go over to, say, a sour buttons, this one is going to be both bitter and both sour, since we have 2 of that same flavor. So we're going to go ahead and cook it. So now, if you notice on the bottom right, see how it shows crispy? And it shows its place on whether or not it's crispy versus, chunky and smooth. You really need to estimate. So this is the base item here. This is what it is currently. We need to make it more chunky. So the way to make it more chunky, first we need to add in our flour. And now, it's all based off of our chopping board. So see how it's just say 1 notch above where we need it to be? And on our little meter, yeah, you can see our mouse. The meter puts it probably about like right here of where it currently is. We need to make it more chunky. So it's all based off of the estimate of where you want to make it. So you need to make it more chunky than it already is. So instead of here, which is probably 3, we want to make it 1, 2. So that should bring it down 1 notch. Then you hit R. See, it shifted it down. Look at that. So right now it's actually, whew, the crispiness and the chunkiness and all that is actually perfect right now. So if you needed to change the flavor on any of these, like say for instance you needed to change the thing to a spicy, because we have access to the frying pan, you can bring it to the frying pan and you can select a spice. And so if you wanted to have like a 3 quality spice, then you can select that. And then you can do your frying pan. And let's go ahead and I'll do that on the next one. But if you want to make something spicy, if we already have 2 sours and 2 bitters, you're going to want to make sure that the spicy is more overwhelming, which means probably each of these bitters, you want to add a spicy spice. So that way it's both sour and spicy. So say for instance, if we wanted just to keep it bitter, 2 bitters and 2 sours, then we don't actually have to come over here, because you notice our crispiness is exactly where it should be. So we don't want to mess that up. And you'll change that by using your frying pan or your mixing bowl. So if we want to keep this as is, I'm going to hit escape. And I don't need to make it any more smoother or chunky. Then I'm just going to keep it as is, throw it in there. And then back to our choppy. So now we need to put it to where we had selected it before, which is 1, 2. 1, 2. They should keep it as is, hopefully. Okay, it adjusted, but it's still within where it's at now. We have a couple more that we're probably going to have to chop up, so we're going to have to adjust that up, and I'll show you. So we just go ahead. We don't need to change the crispy or tender, so we don't need to use the frying pan. Now we need to chop again. Now we notice we're 1 down, so we're going to need to adjust. That's 1, 2, which dropped it down 1. We add 1, maybe 2. It should adjust it back up. Oh, it went down. See, that's kind of the trickiness of it, that you kind of have to figure out those little workarounds. So we're going to need to adjust it even more. So we don't need to adjust the crispy and tenderness, because we know if we move it up, it's going to get back to where it needs to be. So we're going to hit enter. Now we need to adjust our chunkiness. So 1, 2, we did 3, 4. We're going to need it 1, 2. Move it back up. So hopefully that adjusts it up. There it goes. Ooh, we almost could have done it one more time and it brought it up more. So we're still good. We don't need to adjust the crispy or tender, so we can hit E. Okay, so we are on the mark. It's a 3 quality, and it's also a sour, straight sour. And then we can obviously store it. Do I have more? Oh, I don't have more. Okay. Make sure is there anything else I can make? Okay, there we go. So say for instance, because that was one taking the existing stuff and using it and not having to add a spice. But what if this is all we have left and we need to make this, we need a spicy meal and we don't want to go out and shop. But we have the ingredients to do it. So let's go and select this porridge. And I'm hoping I can add the spices to it. I think I can. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll go ahead and add this in. Add this in. Oops, I need to actually select it. Select it. So then we can do our 3-star milk, our 3-star oats, our 2-star milk cooked. Okay, good. We can chop the rhubarb. We might not be able to spicy this one. We'll see. So notice, this is where it is right now. We need to adjust it probably 2 notches up. So right now, like, its existing is in the middle. but they want it, it needs to be a little more smoother. So if we do 1, 2, I'm going to do 2 more. I usually do like 2 above where the target is, so we can adjust where it needs to go. So if we hit R, there it goes. I could have actually almost done it 1 more. So, okay, so with this one, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to add the spice. So let's go ahead and do E. And we need to, okay, so we need to keep it the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. It actually might adjust it 1 more up. Ooh, so that dropped it down. So in that regard, can we actually go back? Okay, that regard, you're gonna, you didn't want, I wouldn't want to do that, done that extra one. So it looks like this is gonna be sour. And then you do that. And do that. Now, unfortunately, this was a bad example on how to do it. But I want to kind of run through. Actually, okay, I can do these. Let's go ahead and say we need to make this spicy. And okay, I should be able to add spice to it. And you can even verify if you hit R. So I will be able to get up to and use spicy seasoning. So if you hit the R up here. So we're going to add the flavor. The current will make it sour. No, see here, we can add a contrail to make it spicy. But what if for some reason we don't have a spicy ingredient right here? And you want to add seasoning to make it spicy. So I'm going to go ahead and select the penny bun. And this is the bitter penny bun. And obviously we got sweet and we also have bitter. So say for instance I select the hazelnut, so that would make it sweet, and we're gonna cook. So we add flour. We're gonna add the currant, which is currently sour. Now we're gonna get into our chopping. So currently, see right over here, see how we want it more tender than crispy? So we're gonna have to use the frying pan. So the middle is about right here. And we need it to kind of be based off of where this is at. We might need to do 2 notches up. So 1, 2, that's about where it is. So we do 1, 2, maybe 1 more. See, it kind of moved it up a little bit. So now, the whole point is not only do we need to make this spicy, we also need to make it tender. Now, you can do the best you can, depending on how many of these things you can use the frying pan or the mixing bowl. Sometimes you can just do the best you can. So, first of all, we're going to move it over to the frying pan. We can add in a spice, which in this case, I'm going to add a 3-star pepper. And then now, it's all about waiting for it to get over to here. So, I mean, this is pretty much, I'm going to let it go as tender as possible. And if you notice where it shows your little mouse right here, you can left click to flip it, or whatever is on your key. And then once you get to the end, see it moved over some. But if you see, now it changed it to spicy. See down here on the bottom left, it's now spicy. So again, if we can cook more, which I think maybe the hazelnuts you can cook, then we can move it closer to tender. So we're going to hit E to combine it there. Now, alright, so doesn't look like with the hazelnut we're going to be able to cook. We can't use the mixing bowl. So this here is going to be as close to the tender we can get. But if this last ingredient you could cook in the frying pan, then you would want to do exactly what I just did before to shift it to the right more. You want to overcompensate what it's supposed to be, so that way it helps with the shift. But in this case, I won't be able to cook it, but one of our main things is we got it almost as tender as what we needed, and we're able to change the spice, overall spice, to spicy. or the type of food is spicy, and we hit enter, and there's our meal. It's a spicy tuckburrow picklets, and so that would satisfy someone who wanted spicy. And for the most part, and when that's the basics of food. Each food not only has items that could change the flavor, like options that can change the flavor. Like, let me see if I can find where's my whole list of all this. Yeah, like save right here, the simple sprite. We got the ingredients of things like this right here, like things like right here is only one flavor, and so we got it's gonna be like it's probably gonna be this is bitter. It's probably gonna be a bitter one. See right here. But depending on the items, like if you click on this guy, this ones we should be able to cook. So if we wanted to make this also sour, then we could add a sour ingredient to the potatoes or the taters to make it both bitter and sour. And so, but you can also add, change, like say for instance, if we had a bitter tater, we would automatically just make it too bitter or a sour tater. We can make two sours, two bitters, and it'll make it both a bitter and a sour meal. It's like a combo meal. Well, in this case, we're gonna chop this up. We need to make this more smooth than it should, so it's gonna have to be really chopped. Because this is back here is about where it is. We're gonna need to overcompensate. We may even have to go to the top. So now it shifted it up some, so we're gonna need to shift it a little bit more. We also need to make it more tender. So we actually have the option to cook it. If you don't want to get rid of the bitter, you don't have to worry about using any type of the flavor. So we're going to keep it bitter. We're going to use no there. And so we're going to move it up. This is the target about here, but we need to shift it. So we're going to right there. Or we're almost there. And so now we're going to combine it. Now we can do it again with our cabbage. We're going to chop it up. We need to shift it up more. So this is where it's right now. Or this is actually where it's right now. We want to shift it a little bit more. And see how it has like a bigger area? That's like a larger range of where you can expand it. So I actually might even just do that. See, now it's shifted exactly where we need it to be. So now we need to cook it more. We don't want to change the flavor, so we're no seasoning. So we're going to fry it, or we're going to cook it. So probably almost to the end to shift it. So left click or whatever is on your controller, you flip it, and we're going to do all the way to the end. And see, there it is. It's perfectly exactly where it needs to be. To be a perfect version of it. So at this point, if we don't need to change the seasoning, we don't need to cook it anymore. But remember I talked about what if we wanted to make the taters sour? We're going to check to see if we have that option. We're going to assemble it here. Now we're going to chop it. Now we're going to want to be careful because we don't want to change its placement. So I'm going to do it to the end. Ooh. I'm going to need to adjust it down some. But we don't need to cook it because we want it to be sour. And it's as tender as we need it to be. So we're going to assemble it. But now we're going to get to the one that we can change. I'm hoping we can make this sour. So now we're going to need to adjust the chunky down. Oh, man. See, we need to be undercompensate. So that should have almost been in the middle. But we want to jump over here, so it looks like we can. Might not be able to make this sour. So it doesn't look like we actually have any seasonings to sour it, unfortunately. You can always look on the meal to see whether or not it's something that can be soured. So sometimes it's just a matter of you checking it to see if you can. But what if we wanted to make this? Oh, we almost could have made this sweet, but I wasn't sure. So if we don't want to change this, and because we can't change it to sour, then we don't. But we do. We can't adjust the smoothness anymore. Then we're gonna hit X, and we're just gonna combine it. We got the tenderness that we want at least. And it's a little more smoother than it should be. So it's a little bit. You want to make sure to maybe I should have done it to about right here for the chunkiness, for it to make sure it doesn't adjust up. So then we're gonna assemble it. And there is our 2-star bitter meal, simple sprouts. And we're going to store it in the pantry. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's kind of the basics of your cooking. It's all about just undercompensating and overcompensating to adjust those things. And it's a combination of to making things crispier. The crispier part is the hard part, because a lot of the times when it needs to be more crispier, it's already adjusted far to the left. So the way to compensate that is eventually you're going to have recipes that uses the mixing bowl. The mixing bowl is going to help it become crispier, while the frying pan makes it become more tender. But that's pretty much for our basic how-to for cooking. If you have any questions about cooking, how to do it better, seasonings and all that, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you have anything, anything that you want to learn about, any how-tos that you want to learn, please feel free to also leave that in the comments, and I will be happy to see about doing a video about it. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.